Welcome to Psychic Insights, where pop culture meets higher consciousness and the tea is always a little bit mystical. I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and around here we don't just watch the drama unfold. We read the energy behind it, whether it's celebrity scandals, reality TV, chaos, or true crime with a twist. I'm tuning in to bring you the intuitive scoop, the headlines mix. So buckle up, because your aura's about to get entertained.
Well, that was a quick end to my new intro, so I'm going to have to work on that. Anyway, welcome back to my channel. It's Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend. And, oh boy, I think I have a good one for you today. Oh boy. I've been saying that. I listened to Bruce the Moose a lot, and he says it, and I've been saying it a lot, so thank you, Bruce. Or not, I don't know. Anyway, you know what? If you've been following this Laura Owens case, you know that the investigative report has come out, and a lot of content creators have been covering it. So if you're interested in, the page by page, blow by blow, very fascinating. I felt like I was reading a script for like one of those reality shows, and apparently, from what I hear, there is a documentary being made or going to be made. Anyway, cool. I'm down. All right. So this episode, we're going to talk about what happens when love crosses into protection and protection crosses into participation. Yes, you know it. You love it. Jan Black Owens, our girl's mom, mommy dearest, who, yeah. Well, whatever. You can draw your own conclusions on her parenting style and her continuing enablement, my opinion only, of her daughter, Laura Owens. All right. None of this is legal conclusion or diagnosis. It's just merely me talking it out and my psychic insight and what I see in the patterns. Anyway, and I pulled cards. You know me. I love to pull cards. So let's talk about this, what this interview actually is. And the interview I'm talking about comes from the original investigative supplemental report. And this was Jan Black Owens speaking directly to investigators, not as a witness to most events, but not as an expert either, but as Laura's mama. When someone steps into an investigation, the expectation is not loyalty or advocacy. The expectation is truth, restraint, and precision. And why this interview stands out to me, and it stands out not in a good way. All right. So I want to pause here and say this as a mom. I understand the instinct to want to protect your child. I understand wanting to step in front of them. And I understand wanting to explain, soften, and defend. But here's what I believe deeply. Love does not excuse dishonesty. Protection does not justify deception. And motherhood does not mean abandoning integrity. Accountability is love. Integrity is love. And letting truth stand even when it's painful is love. And sometimes the most loving thing a parent can do is step back and stay silent. Jan, you should have stayed silent. And this belief is why this episode matters to me, okay? And for those of you that are new parents or expecting, grab the Love and Logic by Jim Fay. That's what I used. I wasn't perfect. Lost Mother of the Year pretty much every year running, but my kids turned out pretty damn good as far as I know. Anyway. All right. I didn't fail. All right, so the cards I pulled for this energetic story was Scythe, House, Cross, Anchor, Bouquet, Ship, Bear, Mama Bear, Book, book, Heart, Coffin, Ring, Whip it good. Anyway, all right, this is not a chaotic read, it's a contained narrative. And it tells a very specific story about Jan's role. So Scythe and House, we'll look at these two again. Scythe, House. Shows a sudden rupture inside the family structure. So this could have been, the raid on the house. And psychically, this is a moment Jan's energy flips into emergency mode. We saw her kind of just sitting there on the couch while the raid was happening. And yeah, probably the best thing she could have done was just stay there. So, all right. Something happened, and then immediately boundaries collapse. Roles start to blur. Containment becomes a priority, especially for a family who's built their legacy on optics and reputation. This is really not, I feel like she didn't calculate her deception in this interview, but it was reactive, a reactive protection. And we know from looking at her human design that she enmeshes in her kids, like she fuses with them. So then we talk, that's just my interpretation. Okay, so then we have the cross. The cross is just burden, martyrdom, moral justification. And Jan will carry this as moral and emotional burden. She doesn't see herself as interfering, Mrs. Kravitz. She sees herself as sacrificing. I'll carry this so she doesn't have to. The enmeshment is strong in this one, right? That mindset explains why she speaks with certainty without firsthand knowledge. I don't know if it's this generation, but my mom was very similar to this. Like, where did you get that from? But anyway, not in the, my mother was not quite like Jan, but reminiscent of Jan. All right, so entrenchment is the anchor. All right, and we got the anchor, and once Jan chooses and chose her position, she locked in. There's no flexibility here. There's no wanting to reassess. This is emotional immovability. And this explains why her interview doesn't evolve or narrow. She just dug in, kind of like Laura. All right. The cards are just fascinating. The Lenormand cards, to me, are pretty amazing in the sense that they really speak to what's going on right now, right? So in this interview, we're talking about the bouquet, and the bouquet is about how something is presented. And Jan doesn't just repeat Laura's story. She packages it. She softens it. She reframes it. She makes it sound reasonable. And that's not truth-telling. That's entanglement. That's management. That's image management, right? Let's pretty it up so maybe somebody will believe it. Then we have the ship. And this shows distance and drift. Facts become interpretations. Timelines blur. Memory blends with meaning. And this is why the interview feels expansive instead of precise, which y'all probably know, It's like there's no precision here. Okay. Wow. Anyway, in this we've got the bear, and the bear is the key card here. And it's dominance, it's protection, it's control. This literally is mom, Jan's energy overrides Laura's agency, and she speaks for her, she interprets for her, and she corrects her. This is not neutral support. It's enmeshment. So then we've got the book. And the book is interesting. The book shows us that Jan does not have the full story. She's operating on what Laura told her and what she's chosen to believe and what she has not questioned. And this is where deception begins, not from invention, but from unverified belief. There's no way that Jan wants to believe this is happening to her daughter, doesn't want to believe that the story Laura has told. She wants to believe the story that has been told to her. And she does not have the whole truth. Well, she doesn't want to see the truth. Let's put it that way. All right, and so then we have the heart, and that's the driver. It's boundaryless love. And these boundaries are not truth. They distort truth. I mean, love without boundaries. So she thinks she's doing a loving act by trying to clear things up for her daughter on half-truths and stories, right? All right, so then we have the coffin, and this shows this narrative cannot survive indefinitely, and I think Jan senses this. There's grief in her energy, not confidence, and something is ending, control, certainty, or even the story itself. And then we have the ring, and ring, in this case, is Jan's vow. She's bound to this role. Stepping out would feel like a betrayal to her daughter, so she stays, even when it hurts the outcome. And in one of the interviews, I think it was a wellness check that we saw, a body cam, we heard that Jan helped Laura file some cybercrime reports. If you remember that, comment in the comment section, because I feel like this is where we get the idea that Jan is part of this accomplice rumor, right? And since she hasn't been legally charged, it's just all speculation, right? All right, so then we have the final card of the whip. And this closes the reading that I did about this. Doesn't resolve. It repeats and it escalates, because once you lie to protect, you have to keep lying to maintain coherence. So Jan's interview obviously does not clarify any facts, it doesn't strengthen credibility, and it does not help Laura. And it replaces evidence with conviction and firsthand testimony with maternal certainty that she's trying to provide truth with protection. And the investigators don't hear that. They hear interference. So is Jan complicit? That's the big question I had. And yeah, energetically she is. She's not necessarily the mastermind, because I don't sense that. But, she's acting as a shield who became a mechanism. She's deceiving investigators even if she believes what she's saying. She's enabling Laura even if she doesn't know everything. And that still counts. So I asked the question, what is Jan thinking now? And energetically, I feel Jan is very unsettled. She knows the interview didn't land. She feels control slipping, and she senses something isn't holding. But instead of stepping back, she's more likely to rationalize, double down, continually turn the critics into villains, because this is protective blindness. This is a mother not willing to see the fact of her daughter. She doesn't fully see Laura. And seeing Laura would clearly collapse Jan's identity as a protector. So she compartmentalizes, she minimizes, and she explains things away. And that allows the pattern to continue. So here's my truth. Jan Black did not help Laura. She inserted herself where only firsthand accountability belongs. Her interview reveals enmeshment, not evidence, protection, not clarity, and belief without knowing. And sometimes the most loving thing a parent can do is step out of the story entirely. So when you protect someone from truth long enough, you don't save them. You delay the reckoning. And the cards say very clearly, the reckoning is coming. Thank you for liking and subscribing and being here, and comment what your thinking or feeling is, because I know a lot of you are not only intuitive, but just super smart people. And I can't thank you enough for supporting my content, and I will definitely be seeing you in the next one.